You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go!
I don't have a quirky intro today, and welcome to Podcast PXN episode 175. I am one. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me rewind. I shot magic with my freaking mind, or whatever the line goes. And welcome to Podcast PXN episode 175. I am one of your hosts, the perennial dating app swiper from Portland, Oregon, the tonsillitis king, Christian Macias. And I'm joined over Discord by Kentucky's #1 Spartan and PXN founder, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM.
Go.
Go?
It was in a...
Where?
I don't know.
Go.
And let's all salute the president of the Tifa Lockhart fan club. He's the Nintendo aficionado and artist extraordinaire at Roro. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm a podcast co-host now. I guess we do that now. That's weird. I didn't think...
Oh, this is what we're doing? This is how we're going to start the
just
show?
Just got to keep the bit going.
And one half of the Men and Gitch podcast, Battlefield's bad boy, the Tarkov Teletubby himself, my liege and lover, Gage Dempster.
Blintz, president. When's your next fucking election?
6?
Ooh,
I don't
6?
know.
2026? No.
No, midterms were when?
2024.
Yes, next
Iowa
year.
Blintz gets 2024.
This November?
No, today's 2023. And by today, I mean
Right,
this
no.
year.
Is that how that works? No, yeah, it'd be 24 in November.
Everyone
and
log
then-
off. Stop watching right now.
Ooh.
November 2024 is the next election. Yeah,
Yes,
for
thank you.
presidential.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, this is not a political podcast, although I wish it were sometimes. But, however, thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday, I swear, at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN. Also on twitch.tv/podcastpxn. Housekeeping, done today. Swag. The topic of the show this week is video game writing actually bad? We'll find out. But first, the show always starts with the PXN news of the week, so let's go ahead and jump right in. But doink, we're in the quick bites. Some smaller news here for you. Let's see what this is all about. First item of the day, a little snack. Bruce Straley, previously of Naughty Dog, calls for unionization after not getting The Last of Us HBO credit. Of course, Bruce Straley had a huge role in creating the world, characters, and story of the original Last of Us. Bruce did get a credit on The Last of Us Part 2, but is not seeing any credit on the show, nor any payment whatsoever. Yeah. Kind of a bummer.
Yeah, payment's tricky, but no credit, that's not.
Sure.
Like a special thanks or something.
Anything.
He should show up right alongside Neil Druckmann in the opening credits, where it
Sure.
says based on the story by or
Yes,
however they
exactly.
word it.
Maybe they'll add it in later because they did that for Marty O'Donnell for the Halo series.
Oh,
As they should.
They did
As they
later.
should.
well, yeah. Hopefully they make it right some way.
This is when I found out the original story for The Last of Us was supposed to be Tess getting revenge on Joel and chasing them throughout the country.
You wanna
To
know what
which,
it was before that?
tell me.
It's supposed to be you're playing as a police officer and his daughter. That was Neil's original pitch for this game, and then you'd have to play as the daughter when the police officer's heart problems started acting up.
Whoa.
That's some deep. That's some.
Well,
deep
okay.
lore.
Whoa. I knew about the
that's
test
pretty
one. I didn't
cool.
know about that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
That was the original pitch
Yeah.
when Neil was still a game developer and not a lead.
Interesting.
Oh, kind of neat.
Look at how stories are shaped. Isn't that neat? Anyway, let's unionize. Moving on. Nintendo news. Nintendo is planning to increase production of the Nintendo Switch. So everyone's saying, don't worry, lads. A new Switch is coming. Turns out it actually might not be anytime soon because, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, eh?
Yeah. Unfortunately. But I mean, not unfortunately. I
Unfortunately.
mean, the Switch is awesome and I love it, but I would love to see what the next thing from Nintendo is, but at the same time, it would be crazy for them not to just ride this ship as long as they can, which I cannot be mad at them for. make more Switches because they sell crazy.
Oh yeah.
Are we sure it ain't broke? Oh, for the type of software you want to release?
That's true.
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you, but like they still sell like hotcakes. You know what I mean? 7 years of this Switch, still selling like crazy. That's the real winners, Nintendo. Let's be real.
One thing to have problems with like third-party games on your system, but when your exclusive first-party games aren't able to run up to spec, it's like maybe your hardware
Well,
doesn't quite line up with what your software visions are.
and the other thing is like even when their next platform comes out, they don't have to immediately stop selling the Switch. Like previous consoles usually go on for a long time. So like the Switch has already topped 114 million units. Like maybe we should start looking to the next console, Nintendo.
For sure.
I'm sure they got stuff in R&D, but here's a quick question. We're gonna stop here for a second. Nintendo, every time they like iterate and make like a new main hardware, they do something very quirky and very different than what's come before. Would you reckon? Do you think they could would continue to do like a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro? Just like this thing is still selling really well. Like we don't need to innovate this next iteration. Let's just make the hardware itself better, but still be the same thing with the Joy-Cons, the touchscreen, mobile gaming hybrid.
I think
it's just that you bring that up because I feel like there'll be one small thing, but for the most part it'll be unchanged. But I feel like Nintendo is physically incapable of not innovating every time they release a new. There'll be like a Switch stylus with the 2 or something like that. Like it'll be something small, but I feel like they have to.
3D again.
Oh god, 3D again. Oh man, yeah. I hope they do something different, but I mean, like with the Wii U, they fumbled that a little bit with like the Wii was such a great success, and then like let's do essentially the Wii 2, but it wasn't that because it was just a screen, and yeah, they fumbled that a little bit, but they kept the same name. So I think if they want to keep the success going, they just don't make that same mistake twice, which is I guess could be a little bit tricky.
I remember when the Wii U came out, like the trailer, the announcement. I thought it was a controller. I thought it was just like the pad. Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of people did. Yeah.
Moving on. I think we maybe touched on this last week. I can't remember, but we got confirmation of it. Crystal Dynamics announces it will end support of Marvel's Avengers later this year. RIP to the Avengers players, whoever's out there that are still playing this game. There's not enough content, I think. Yeah. Kind of sad, but so it goes. Sure, I guess. I don't know. I never played it.
I liked the campaign, but everything else around it I didn't like. Like all the games of service stuff and the skins and the cosmetics and all that.
You didn't like having to punch a regular security guard as the Hulk 16 times to kill him because he's a level 10 and you're a level 9. Did that kind of ruin the Hulk immersion for you, Roshan?
It did. It did lose a little bit of the immersion for me, and all the enemies kind of being the same. Yeah. There was a lot wrong with it, but the story I liked, and I liked the War for Wakanda expansion, but everything else not super great. Not super great at all. Which sucks because Crystal Dynamics is a great studio.
If you're interested in playing this game for the story, but like before this game ends support, do it fast because after I think September is when they stop supporting it. You will not be able to get this game anymore, at least not digitally. So
just watch the cutscenes on YouTube.
Or that, sure.
Save yourself the money. It's okay.
It's also free on various platforms.
True.
So, moving on. Gage is very upset about this. The day before has been delayed to November after alleged trademark issues. Yeah, right. Oh, brother. Gage, pop off. Tell me about this.
It's fraud. What is fraud? The game. I don't think the game exists in the way that it's been shown. And this is the exact same thing as Abandoned. You have a very small studio showing you a game that seems like it's way too good to be true because it is. And there's always an angle with Abandoned. It was the lack of transparency to a point where it was extremely suspicious. With this one, it was like they recently had some sort of event where they were trying to get awareness for their studio, and they showed very little gameplay for the game, and instead spent like the entire runtime of this 7 or 8 minute thing talking about this weird Skype alternative that they've made in house, and they were trying to tell people on that for businesses. So I'm like, This is usually not what you don't really see Bethesda talking about their email service that they use on like front and center at the Xbox showcase. So there's a little bit of blood red flags all over the place, but way she goes nowadays.
And the game got taken off Steam, by the way, due to this trademark issue, which is very suspect to begin with. People are speculating it just probably just does not exist because there is no game.
The only thing I could see is that I think for a while, maybe they've subtly changed it, but for a while they were using the exact same font as The Last of Us when they called it the day before. So if we want to say that there is some sort of trademark issue, maybe that's it. But I'm kind of in line with Christian where I just think they're trying to buy time to make the game that they've now promised everyone, which almost certainly does not exist in the way that they've shown it. So maybe there's a hint of truth to that because they were just straight using the font for them. But who knows? Who cares? The game's not real.
It seemed to be like the strategy was let's make up a game and hopefully secure funding in some capacity.
Yes,
and then make the game after the fact.
Yes, that is absolutely it. If you watch those really early games, well, here's the thing too: the gameplay clips that we were shown, 2-3 years ago, the game still hasn't come out, and obviously, the gameplay that we've seen has been hyper polished, but it just seems like they've taken the best aspects of every game and managed to fit them into one game, which nobody else has been able to do. I mean, Rockstar comes close with their flying and driving and shooting, but you're telling me that this studio has figured it out, I guess? Okay.
What's the secret? Dan, we cut you off. What were you saying?
Oh, no, you're good. Their trademark issues too were because they announced the game and then I think years later somebody else bought the naming rights to it, which if you're going to make a game, why would you do that in that order? You trademark it first. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Do you know what the trick is?
Tell me.
You know what the secret is on how to get studios to make games like this? You need to make sure that in your studios, every employee is constantly drinking sparkling water.
Listen, I do love sparkling water. Every weekend, I treat myself to polar water, ruby red grapefruit, another flavor I'm forgetting right now, and it's fantastic, delicious.
People who drink sparkling water are the people who drink IPAs of health. I'm sorry.
It's just so yummy, it's like a little tree, have a little bit of hummus.
See notes. Oh, I'm getting notes of barley wheat flour. No, you're not.
Nah.
It's beer.
It's just water, man. Moving on. Here we go. In our weekly look at this shitty person news. Justin Roiland has resigned from Squanch Games after facing domestic violence charges. That's not all, folks. Let us not forget that there are also leaked images of him texting very sexually explicit messages to several minors up on the internet. So he has cut ties with Squanch Games and also Rick and Morty / Adult Swim. So
generally do not recommend things.
Yeah. Why would you? As a grown man, why would you do this?
Right.
Oh my god. Insane.
It's weird how it's always the grown men with massive audiences and it's you can
be on a little bit of better behavior,
you could probably,
maybe
punch above your weight as opposed to being a piece of shit. But
sure.
There's probably a couple of jokes in High in Life near the end that they probably need to patch out after this news too, because I was finishing, as I'll talk about later, I was finishing that last night or 2 nights ago, whenever that was, and there was some jokes in there that I was like, this, poor timing.
In hindsight, yeah.
Right.
Oh no.
Some more bummer news. I don't know anyone that's looking forward to this game. I'm sorry. I don't hear anyone talk about this game at all until it comes up on the news. Lord of the Rings Gollum is delayed. Will now release between April and September 2023. Kind of a weird, window there, but there you have it. Gollum. Look forward to it in the spring/fall.
I did
Spring/summer.
Forget that game exists.
What is this game about? I need to know what this game is about. I mean, it's about Gollum. What do you do?
Isn't it like a stealth game? Right?
I'm about to blow your guys' mind. This game was announced on March 25th, 2019.
Oh, yeah.
That's not that long ago.
Almost 4 years ago.
3 years ago.
Almost 4. 2019? March
2019.
Yeah,
2019.
almost 4.
Oh
Almost
yeah,
4.
you're right. Sorry for you.
That's insane.
Yeah,
But it's been delayed a couple of times, right? This is obviously not the first time.
yeah.
Like a couple of delays as well. That's the more concerning part to me, is that it keeps
Yeah.
getting delayed over and over.
Somebody should get this onto our fantasy critic.
Yeah, Dan.
Not a
Dan,
chance.
Dan, you
Huh?
want this
Yeah.
one?
Not a chance.
Well, give it
I'll
Really
give-
Jays.
good.
I'll
I
give you
heard
$2
that it's really good.
This game
Yeah,
actually
I heard-
comes out and it's a
Yeah,
banger.
you should pick the day before and Gollum,
No.
Yeah,
and then those are both
Double
my
winner.
counter picks dealt with.
and also Starfield.
It's coming
Out of
before
pocket.
April,
Out
right?
of pocket.
That's
It is coming out in April. Fuck with both of you.
Moving on. I was originally not gonna say this. I was gonna feel the podcast out to see how you guys felt about it. But then Dan just said, "Fuck it, I'm sending this to the whole PXN
Oh.
chat anyway."
Whoops.
Without
It was
reading.
very vague, you know?
Yeah, and there's also more to what you said as well. We got some Dead Space details. By looking at trophies, we found out that there is, and then we got confirmation on Twitter as well. There is a secret ending to the Dead Space remake. Additionally, there's also some alternate endings. Could be singular, could be plural. Yes. Gage.
Isn't every ending a secret ending until you see it?
Hmm.
Mm,
Food for thought. Food for thought.
mm.
Well, but it's not a secret if we've already played the original game, right?
I haven't played the original game. Secret to me.
Thank
That's
you,
fair.
Shan.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I like the alternate endings and them
I
being
do.
more that they're adding some new stuff to it. Even though I'm not going to play this, no way in hell. But that's cool. That's really cool.
This is interesting. No, this is more interesting because like I thought the plan was just to do like a from start to finish remake of the original game, and then maybe if this does well, remake Dead Space 2, which was more of an action than horror game. But if this is the case with the alternate endings / a secret ending that may be different, they may be just going in a different direction. With that like a brand new Dead Space 2. We don't know.
I hope not.
This is a
'cause
full
Dead-
remake too, right? So assuming it's new dialogue with new performers, so they could tweak the story. It's not completely out of that has
Isaac
that's
talks?
happened before. Yep, that has happened before. Also, speaking of alternate endings, shout out to the one true king of alternate endings, I Am Legend alternate ending.
Oh, remember that?
Yep. Remember how it was
Yeah.
infinitely better than the ending we got?
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Like I think it was on the DVD.
I don't know why that memory unlocked just now, but like
Dude,
going to Blockbuster and picking up the DVD and being like, wait, what? There's an alternate ending? And there's like these videographic comics you could watch too?
remember the scene with the dog?
Yeah, that was rough. That dog's still alive, turned 15 recently.
That rocks, dude. Oh my god. Moving on.
Samantha. I looked to Samantha, dude.
I almost said shitfall. I don't know what. Hold on. Shift. Shift all. Oh my god! I had so much trouble reading this company's name. Shift all announces Mutalk. Okay, a new Bluetooth voice suppression microphone, and it looks straight up like a muzzle. It goes over your mouth. You cannot see the mouth.
So
At all.
Can
how
we
many
get
have
one
you
for Gage?
pre-ordered?
Oh,
You guys are both making jokes. Who's going first?
My God. This
What
looks
does
weird.
this say about your character that this is what happens?
My God.
Dan, go first. What are you gonna say?
oh, I just said, can we get one for Gage?
There.
Nice, nice.
So
So,
never
we
mind,
can
you
hear
were
him
ganged
better.
up on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evenly distributed. I love it.
Yes.
My God.
Could you imagine the ASMR with this thing? It's gonna go hard.
Ooh, now we're talking.
Now we're
I
talking.
love
Yeah.
I love the guy at the beginning. He's like doing like a little photo shoot, and he's trying to look cool with it, but it's impossible.
You cannot. There's a
Okay.
picture on this website. There's a picture. If you scroll down, a picture of a dude with an Oculus and this thing.
Yes, that's what
Oh,
we live in a
no.
parody world. That is literally what Black Me like. I don't
That's
understand.
Black Mirror, yeah.
I
That's
don't
scary.
understand.
Can you tell me what the
Yeah.
point of it is? Like, why?
Voice suppression. There's no leakage.
Yeah.
We can hear you very well.
There's a great example in this this very trailer where this guy's just screaming over and over, and I assume his girlfriend is like, "Shut the hell up!" And he puts this thing on. Problem solved.
Unless
Problem
he's
solved,
just
right?
mouthing and it doesn't actually work.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Which is the trump which is the variable in all of this. You could spend fucking how much is it? $200 to look like an idiot, and then it also doesn't work.
I can look like an idiot for free. So
Exactly.
Much more efficient.
anyway, we also got some more technology updates here. There's a last quick buy item. NVIDIA released an eye tracker thingy. I tried really hard to find the article again. I couldn't find it. So it's the eye tracker thingy. You turn that bad boy on, and it uses artificial intelligence to artificially make it so that your eyes are looking straight into the camera, even if you look away. You know, I'm doing it right now. I'm kidding. I'm not. It'll look like you're looking straight at the camera, which is cool for like some, accessibility stuff. People are doing it for all sorts of stuff. There's also like the weird moral area where people are applying it to videos of not themselves. And anyway, NVIDIA.
The video that I saw, I'm sure you saw it too, Christian, if you're bringing this up, but the video that I saw of this streamer explaining it was so creepy. You just like,
it's weird.
It was a side by side, and he's just like constantly looking at the camera, no matter, obviously that's the technology. But I feel like people don't even do that in real life. Like, why would you even need? Like, I don't stare at someone like intently like this the entire time I'm talking to them. It's just, I don't know. It's weird. I don't think that this is. But maybe the accessibility stuff that you're talking about, it could be cool. But for like streaming, I don't know why you would just look at the camera.
I wouldn't. I love to look away.
Yeah, it was weird. Weird video.
Okay, nobody else has thoughts. Swag. That means we can move on over into our PXN news of the week. And I forgot to tell Dan about this, so we're gonna fumble a little bit through the first part of PXN news of the week. But I think we'll do a decent job. There's been a lot of new information coming out on regarding 343 Industries as well as Halo Infinite. There's a new article that kind of does not coincide with some of the news that we talked about last week. I did not get a chance to read it. I also missed some stuff. I'm sure there's other stuff I missed. Dan, I'd gather, did read this. Can you catch us up?
I'm trying to remember what we even talked about last week. Because we kind of... Sorry. Go ahead, Ro.
No, I think you might remember.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So we were talking about single player content and their supposed cancellation of it, whether or not it actually even started.
I think after last week, I don't think this came out before, I think was Jason Schreier and Jez Corden's comments. Is that right? We didn't talk about that last week.
They both said that single player content never really moved past the brainstorm kind of like talking phase.
Yes. Okay. So they were both commenting on the Reddit post that had like a breakdown of all this stuff that was going to happen in terms of campaign being canceled and all this other stuff. So essentially, Jez and Jason Schreier were both saying that, this post is basically not accurate at all, or, largely conjecture. And that included, canceled campaign content, because they both said that apparently it wasn't even in the works, which is crazy to me because they had the Endless trademarked, which was supposed to be like, a hint towards whatever that was next. So that is fascinating. Maybe it just was like in the phase where they were talking about it and never really started on it. But that is interesting because essentially it is debunking what people were speculating in terms of saying that 343 was going to be basically turned into a publisher moving forward, that they were just going to be eliminated completely, and they were just going to hand off the license to other developers and not work on Halo after Halo Infinite, which obviously Jason Schreier and Jez Corden said that, that's not true. And also, we got a statement from 343 that said that that's not true. And I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting something.
Well, there was an IGN article that I think came out, yesterday or 2 days ago?
And actually the IGN article confused me because it was filled with information that we already knew about. I almost felt like the IGN article was behind, because I had actually responded to Ryan McCaffrey on Twitter, and I was like, hey, like, I'm confused because like this doesn't match up with what Jason Schreier and Jez Corden were saying. There's just a lot of confusion because there's conflicting information. And the other thing is as well, in the IGN article, they referenced previous developers that were saying how 343 management was the issue and everything else, which those people who worked at 343 at that time were working with different management than that are in control now, because obviously Pierre, who is in charge now, was not in charge when these other people were there. It was Bonnie Ross, it was Chris Lee, who was the original head of 343 for Infinite. So yeah, it's very, very confusing because there's a lot of conflicting information out there. As far as what I'm gathering from it is that nothing's really changing in terms of 343 taking ownership of the game. However, I think that of the franchise, I should say. However, I do think that like oftentimes the truth is somewhere in the middle. So like I think that this personally means that 343 is going to expand their horizons more to other developers. So like Gage often talked about wanting to see other developers work with Halo as a license. I think they're going to do that a lot more and work with a lot more companies now. That's just what I'm gathering from this, and possibly see more like, you know, new experiences like a la Halo Wars. So which, yeah, that's cool. I'm excited to see more Halo stuff if that it does actually happen. But
Gage, real quick, is that something that excites you or makes you nervous at all? Somewhere in the middle?
Yes,
Other,
because
go ahead.
Dan and I, at the center of our disagreements and how we view Halo, I think Halo's strongest asset is its universe, and Halo and Dan is very much enjoys Master Chief and Cortana at the center of the focal point. So as somebody who's always said that I think the universe is like the strongest asset that Halo has, that it's a really well thought out universe and the lore is incredible. This is exactly what I wanted. I want more spin-off stuff. I want to see, like, people keep bringing this up, but something like Alien Isolation, where you're like a Marine trapped on like a ship that has flood all over it. That sounds fucking awesome. That sounds really cool. Give me a survival horror game set in that universe. I'd love a third-person action adventure. Maybe you play as an ODST guy whose pod got stuck behind enemy lines. Like there's so many things that I think the Halo universe is ripe for exploration with. So for me, I am excited. Like Dan and I have talked at length. I haven't been the biggest fan of 343. Like I'll never say that they're an awful studio and they make bad games, but they just haven't been for me. They haven't hit quite the same. So, and in terms of like, I feel like I have to say this to be fair. When we say like conflicting reports and how they're talking about old management, I mean, Bonnie Ross was there like 3 months ago. Like in terms of a video game life cycle, this is pretty recent. So when you hear reports of them saying management is incompetent, and which was the working theory for a long time, and then it's like, well, there's new management now. It's like, well, yes, but they're clearly talking about like Halo Infinite that we're seeing now is still kind of the result of the prior management, right? Like they're just now starting to fix things. So when I see reports of people talking about this, like I feel like I don't discredit it as much, because I'm like, yeah, well, Pierre just took over like recently. So obviously up until 3 months ago, management was a serious issue. But overall, pretty positive going into this. I'd love to see more unique takes on the Halo IP.
And just to be clear, I wasn't trying to discredit them. I was just more so saying, like, this is a different situation now. We're looking forward. We are in a much better situation than what we were before, is all I was trying to go with. And I agree with you, Gage, that the universe is Halo's most exciting thing. I love Master Chief and Cortana. You're not wrong. But also, I love the universe as well. Absolutely. The characters, amazing. Yeah.
Well, like you and I say, like Halo Wars, right? Like any other franchise, if Call of Duty were to try to make an RTS, even though I would totally say go for it, give it a shot. Like I feel like most fan bases would totally like shun that, but Halo Wars was welcomed with open arms, and like everyone loved it. And Halo Wars 2 was great. Like I'm surprised we didn't see more of that sooner because of the positive critical reception. They might not have sold like crazy, but I don't think they were made at a loss. They definitely were not made at a loss, I don't think. So it's like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm it's unfortunate that it took this in order for this to happen, but
that's a great point too, Gage, because like, yes, those didn't sell well, and like now we're in a time where Microsoft doesn't really care about sales, they care about Game Pass games. So like this is a perfect time to introduce stuff like this where we get more variety and creativity in the Halo universe. I Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Especially with the popularity of like The Last of Us, like again, it because both of these franchises, well, Halo's been around a lot longer than The Last of Us, so it'd be kind of cool where it's like, I mean, they could totally play with the flood and have like some really creepy, like, you know, like we're going to talk about later with like tendrils and stuff like that. It's like they could, if they made a game that just focused on one specific part of the universe or one part of the lore and really fleshed it out, they can come up with some really cool ideas.
The only issue is that with modern AAA development, probably not something you're going to see for the next 5 to 7 years, maybe.
Unless it's an Obsidian scale sort of spinoff, right? Like Grounded. Grounded didn't take forever. Grounded was just a little, you know, side adventure that turned out to be an incredibly successful game.
I want to know what kind of game Ro wants to see from the Halo universe.
A visual novel dating sim.
Yes, I knew
it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
To date Cortana and some other what are those called? I guess AI.
AI, yeah.
Like weapon and stuff.
An AI dating sim.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Honestly, a third-person action adventure would be fun. But yeah.
Third person? Hell yeah, basically.
Action adventure. Adventure. That's not Halo. I'm kidding. It could be though. It could be. Speaking of Xbox though, Xbox had their developer direct today, and I have an IGN recap for you here. We can discuss our. I watched this live. I know Daniel did as well. I think maybe Ro watched part of it.
I watched it too. Yeah. Okay,
so 3 of us watched it live. I think Gage was at work, so Gage can chime in with various thoughts after the fact. But I have a recap for you here, and we'll go. I'm going to skip around the actual IGN article because I wrote down the stuff in order that they showed it. The very first thing that we saw was Minecraft Legends, and this gets an April release date. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I thought you were raising your hand. This gets an April release date, and we got a huge, kind of lengthy look at PvP details. Dan was sort of high on this in our little private chat. You want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, obviously, I played Minecraft a long time ago when it first came out, but not really into it lately. But Minecraft Legends looks really cool, I think. It looks like I told you guys in the chat, it looks kind of like a tower defense, like meets sim type experience, which I thought that was really cool. Or not sim, strategy, which I think looks really cool. Obviously, they did Minecraft Dungeons, which was like a top-down dungeon crawler type experience. So yeah, it's kind of cool that they're doing more experiences like this in Minecraft.
Bro, I think you agree with Dan as well. Are you gonna get into Minecraft Legends?
I don't know if it is exactly for me, but what I saw was I was impressed by it. Like I wasn't expecting it to look like this and have as many deep aspects to it as it did, like the PvP, PvE sort of stuff, the tower defense stuff that Dan was talking about. I just wasn't expecting that. So when he said like this, you know, I'm kind of, maybe I'm crazy, but this looks awesome. But I was like, no, yeah, this does look really cool, just because it wasn't what I was expecting from a Minecraft title, I guess, and that could just be my ignorance on the topic because I haven't really played it that often. But yeah, I was impressed by it. Will I play it? I don't know. I might, honestly, since it's on Game Pass, and if Dan wants to beat it up, I might join him. But usually this wouldn't be the type of game that I play. But I liked what I saw.
Yes.
We'll play against each other, Ro. PvP.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. All right. There's one thing about me, I keep it real.
That's fair.
I will never play this. All right. However, I will never play this. However, when I'm looking at this game and I'm seeing it in action, I'm like, yeah. For the people that like enjoy these kinds of games, like it will find this audience and it will like find it hard. Like it looks like it'd be a ton of fun for the people that like it, and it looks pretty great for those kinds of gamers. Not for me.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't the Minecraft IP, but gameplay wise, this looks great. I really love. I think Dan, what you're trying to say is it's like it almost seems like it's small scale RTS mixed with city builder.
Yeah,
and that is, I love that. There's not many games in that sort of category. I've actually in what you got for me, I'll jump into that a little bit. But yeah, looks good. Dan, I'll play it with you. I'll play Minecraft Legends. Minecraft.
We could do PvP,
Melons.
VP, all 3 of us against each other. I don't know. That's probably not a thing.
Wouldn't it be more fun to be like on the same team against other randos?
No, we want to destroy each other and kill our friendships.
We're never on the same team, Christian. Why would we start now?
I want Dan to destroy my hymen. Let's move on.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just a silly little lad. Speaking of things that look good, Turn 10 Studios came around and was like, hey, you want to see some gorgeous gameplay of Forza Motorsport? Well, here you go. Although we didn't get a release date, we did get tons of gameplay details on things like photogrammetry of the tracks, of the cars themselves, of the way light is refracted against a paint of cars, of temperatures of tracks and how that affects each different lap. Weather, of course, dynamic weather affecting each and every single second of these laps. 20 new locations that are going to be in the game, and we got to look at a brand new track. I forget where it was. Might have been South Africa. I don't remember. But again, Forza Motorsport will run at 4K, 60 FPS with over more than 500 cars. So get excited.
Insanity.
And more than 100 are new to the motorsport franchise.
I think that's the important stat when they announce these things.
Yeah,
because they announced 500 cars in Forza Horizon 5, and I was like, oh, cool! I've seen all of these before. They're all the exact same as the previous year.
I got really sad watching this video because, of course, as you know, I've been playing my modded racing game on PC, and I realized I will never play Forza Gran Turismo ever again. I am way too happy playing my little modded games. You know what I mean? But God, this game looks freaking fantastic. I'm not gonna lie to you. The accumulation of dirt, I thought was really cool, and the way it pockets into crevices and not just generally over the car, I thought was really neat as well.
And the pavement is like different temperatures depending on like the time of day, and like every lap like can be different. It's so insane. Like,
have other Forzas not done that before?
Maybe, I don't know. It's just I was amazed when they said that.
I said a Corsa gang.
And the crowd also, because like I always remember the Forza crowds always being like flat panels that they just turn towards you as you drive by. Apparently these are fully like 3D images. Models.
Yeah.
So, insane.
It's cool to see, like, this is what it's like to be on the other side of like Tarkov. When you're describing Tarkov to somebody and they're like, wow, that just doesn't sound fun. That's what I hear when they're talking about the tarmac is different temperatures in this place, and the water's gonna pile up over the course of the race. So like, okay, this is what this feels like, because somebody is gonna love that, and I'm like, this sounds like way too much. I don't want any of this.
So when I'm playing a set of Corsa, I do the exact same thing. I change time of day. I adjust like track temperature, and I'm adjusting like the torque of my car. Cool shit. Forza. One thing I want to mention here that I really I'm kind of I have a sound kink. You know, when it comes to these games, like I just love really good audio. And they were talking in depth about how modifying the car will change the sound of the engine itself, which I thought was also fantastic.
That was cool. Team 10 is really out here. They're crazy.
Whoever has this in Fantasy Critic, you're set.
Okay, you know what? I was talking to my friend today on the phone, and he says, because he listens to the show, and he goes, I'm going to keep it real. I think Dan might win again. And I said, fuck you, man.
But he's right.
He's right, yeah.
But he might be right.
Because even if Dan is going to lose, Dan will just do some, shady shit, cut some deals, and then he'll win.
Pay off Kurok again.
Shady shit.
Sure,
Kurok?
Gage, Gage, shady shit, like actually pick up games, unlike you.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Wait.
Next, we got a look at, I think, probably the biggest surprise of today from this Developer Direct was Tango Works Hi-Fi Rush, a rhythm action game. And surprise, it's out today, right now. It's on Game Pass. You can go play it right now. I downloaded it. Looks pretty cool.
Heck yeah. I think this is a game that I actually want to bring up later in our topic of the show.
Yes, me too.
For games rating.
I made Gage watch the trailer for this exact reason. It's also in the notes down there.
Nice. Awesome. But yeah, on that note, it looks awesome. I would definitely play this game. The art style is amazing. I love a little thing that they do in Spider-Verse as well is animate on threes, which is when you hold a frame for when you hold an image for 3 frames, and it looks so cool. It just adds like an extra impact to it. And yeah, that's why I really like the art style for this one and the game writing. Talk about that later.
And the music, like Nine Inch Nails,
course, yeah.
and the Black Keys, and not just like having to fight according to like the tempo of the track, but the environments of the actual level themselves. Listen to the music, and Dan has something to say. He's about to say something.
I was just gonna say, and like Gage was talking about Grounded before with the Obsidian, like this is why Game Pass is really great sometimes, because you let these studios do some smaller projects that are like really cool, like passion projects. So yeah, this is really cool to see.
That's a really good point, and it lets them look at it with metrics other than just dollar signs, right? They can be like, "Oh, this if we throw this small little game that you guys just threw on a passion project onto Game Pass, and it gets a huge amount of engagement, that's a huge metric for them to be like, okay, well maybe this might not look profitable to us because we're suits and we're idiots, but clearly a lot of people are playing this game. Maybe we should let them do Hi-Fi Rush 2 or whatever their next passion project is. Absolutely.
Let them cook.
Let them cook."
I remember us talking about the leak last week or something, or the title being leaked yesterday or well, I don't remember. But was there anything else that leaked about this game besides?
There was concept art, I think. One piece of concept art. And when I saw
was
it,
that
I was
main
like,
character, I think.
Yeah.
Was that recent though?
I think
that was a recent leak.
I think it was
like 2 days ago this week. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, even though like this game dropped today, even though it leaked, I still think it's impressive that they went this long without it getting out and it coming today and all that stuff. But
I couldn't even believe that it was true, because the art style is nothing like what their previous games are. Like, so it was pretty cool.
The release date didn't leak, did it? It didn't say that it was coming out.
No.
It just said that it would
that was
be
a
shown
huge
off.
surprise.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Can't wait to see it again with Starfield.
Well, don't hold your breath. I'm gonna be honest here. I tuned out during this part. I glazed over. You can. We got some more stuff on The Elder Scrolls Online. You can play a few chapters for free. Xbox also shared a look at Elder Scrolls Online's newest class, the Arcanist, and talked about its next major content update, titled Necrom. The chapter is taking players back to Morrowind. From 3. Plus, Xbox revealed that it is making all 20 previous chapters and DLC free to play for a limited time. You can jump into the world of ESO as long as you have access to the base game. Enjoy, you ESO freaks.
It's very smart, giving people access to everything just to get new players in. Yeah,
just like the Final Fantasy strategy. Okay, final thing they showed off was an extended look at Redfall. Got some more gameplay of Arcane's newest game. Thank you, Dan. And this is coming May 2nd. To which Dan said, "Yeah, there's no way Starfield comes out before April."
Yeah,
we'll see.
No way.
Possible. How I know, Gage, you're excited for this. Did you get more excited after seeing this?
That's actually, it's interesting. No, I feel like I'm still very excited for this game. I love Arcane games, and I really love the premise of this. This is one of those games where it's like, whether it's good or bad or not, this might have to be a game that I pick up and get like a collector's edition, like a steelbook case, because I'm just that into it. But I don't know. It's kind of I'm a little bit, I wouldn't say worried, but usually Arcane games will have some sort of spin. Like Prey has really good physics, and Dishonored had really good supernatural abilities and movement mechanics and stuff like that. Whereas Redfall seems like all it has going for it is just the shooting, and the shooting looks like it leaves a little bit to be desired. So I'm kind of keeping my expectations in check of how much I'll enjoy this. But as somebody who's probably put well over like 150 hours into Back 4 Blood, I will almost certainly enjoy this. This game looks infinitely better than that in terms of gameplay. So I wouldn't say I'm more excited. I'm still extremely excited for Redfall.
Gage be like, more like mid-fall. Am I right, fellas? Got him.
Redfall looks fun.
Yeah, I think I agree with you though, Gage. I think it looks good. I don't know if it looks great though. We'll see.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yes, I'm hoping it's the vibe and the atmosphere, and like again, maybe like the character custom, like they showed off the skill tree for like a split second, which was kind of weird because again, they focused a lot on the stuff we've already seen in this gameplay trailer, which is a bit weird to me. But like with the few seconds they did show the skill tree and all the different level up perks, like that's the part where I'm like, okay, maybe this will be that arcane twist that makes up for the lackluster gunplays. It seems like there is a lot of skills, and maybe if you can do really cool character builds, that'll even things out. But still very excited going into this. I will probably be playing this a lot when it comes out.
They lucked out. It releases the week before Legend of Zelda, not the week after, which would have been devastating, I think.
Which would have been, yes, absolutely.
That is it for our news of the week. We're going to make a quick stop at our fantasy draft check-in. Folks, nothing new to report in terms of points. However, Dead Space Remake reviews drop tomorrow, which means Dan will most likely be getting some points on the board. Mañana, we'll have a full update for you next week, Wednesday.
So excited. I'm off Friday too, so I get to play this on Friday.
Oh, you pre-ordered?
Oh yeah.
Ain't no way I'm spending 70 quid on this right now.
Actually, it's cheaper with EA Play. It's 10% off.
Yeah, do you subscribe to that?
Yeah, it's Game Pass Ultimate includes it.
Well, that's where the money's going.
Yep.
You know me, I'm a hater. I'm kidding. I'm very excited to play Dead Space before the year ends, just not at launch. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break for our T-Lu timeout. This week, episode 2, Infected, premiered. Last week, of course, we gave our thoughts on the premiere episode of The Last of Us HBO. Thoughts on episode 2? Ro was popping off in chat, so I'm gonna let him go first.
Oh, well, I really liked the opening to this episode. And I think if they keep doing stuff like this, where they like do a little flashback, the first episode, I guess, technically wasn't a flash. Well, it was the talk show. So it was before the outbreak. But yeah, if they keep doing that, like expanding on the lore, I guess, of the initial outbreak, I would love that just to expand upon that. Because Outbreak Day is so cool, and if they keep adding upon that, I think that's a plus. I love the line where she's like, bomb the city. That's the only thing that we could do. Like when she realized how hopeless the situation was. And I think they did a really good job building up to that line actually hitting instead of her just, saying that. It's a good job building up to that. And I think we'll talk about it a little bit later, but the ending of the episode, I was a little bit mid on. But I do like that they're doing different stuff, and that I don't think one, at least yet, I don't think one is better than the other. And I'm like getting more from this show in certain aspects, and there's certain aspects from the game that like this was better in the game, but I'm okay with it being different in the show, because I don't think anything's necessarily bad, just different so far. But with that being said, the ending, which we'll talk about later with Tess, I didn't think hit as hard as it did in the game for me.
Yes,
but
it's because Tess is not as well written in the show, in my opinion, because there's just not enough time to
get to know her exactly. Yeah, that's
to get to know any of them as much. But yeah especially Tess.
That could have been it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Gage was going to say something.
Oh, I can jump in. I just want to. Does anybody else want to go? I don't want to cut somebody off.
No, please.
Rashan, wait, Rashan, say that. Whatever.
No,
just popped in your brain.
I was just remembering the infected stuff with the clickers and I'm sure we'll talk about it. Like have a bigger conversation about it, but with the tendrils connecting all of them too. But yes, the music, and the reference to the original trailer with Joel like having his back.
Oh yeah,
so cool. I love stuff like that. So yeah.
All right. If I'm gonna jump in, here. Listen, I think that the biggest problem that I have with the show, and it's not a very big. I don't think it's weighing the show down as much as it might sound, but I think Christian might agree with me, is that it seems like the show is missing a lot of the nuance from the writing. And
I love you.
Tess specifically is much more of a well-written female character in the game, like incredibly so. I don't think she's necessarily poorly written in the show. I just think it's very strange that they decided to do 9 episodes. I think there should have been 10 with the extra long, with the same exact premiere, and then we probably should have had an episode in between 1 and 2. We probably should have fleshed out Robert a bit more. We should have fleshed out Tess.
Yes.
Maybe like some Marlene. Maybe we see Ellie doing her own thing. I feel like we're just kind of missing an episode in there, because I felt the same as Rashan. Like to me, that's still a very again, water cooler conversation. What happens at the State House is very similar to what happens in the game, right? 3 people enter, 2 people leave. But I agree with Rashan. It did not hit as hard. I thought. I don't think the decision to have Tess go out the way she goes out is as heinous as some people are making it out online, because some people are fucking ridiculous and need to settle down. But it was not as impactful as the game. But this is the thing I'm wondering.
Let me tell you why.
Let me tell you
why.
Is it just the way they did it, or is it just the performance? Because the original actor that played Tess fucking killed it.
Let me tell you why. Because the issue I think with me for Tess is that I'm not going to call her one-dimensional, but the writing for her character is very cold to everyone, including Ellie and Joel. And the difference between, I think, again, between show and game for me in terms of Tess is that Tess still has a warmth to her.
Yes, you're
like those
right.
motherly parts come out tons of times with Ellie. I get that we don't have room for that, but specifically in the State House, like in the end, when you find out that she's infected in the game, her voice changes very rapidly to desperation. And I never felt that true desperation in the show. It still felt like cold, and it still felt like orders to Joel. And it didn't feel like more of a plea to be like, you need to do this. Still, we get a great line, save what you can save. That's a great line, but I didn't feel that in the tone of her just the writing of show Tess.
Save who you can save, and the delivery of and we said everything right was really hit. That really hit for me when she said this will make up for all the things we did, because that, again, for the most part the game is much more nuanced, but in the game that's kind of only implied, where I liked that line in the show where she's like, you need this will make up for everything that we've done. Because again, I don't think they'll do it in the show, because like Christian and I have talked about, there's less nuance, but in the game they are very, very clear that Joel is a bad person even before the ending of the game, before that final twist, if we can call it that. It's heavily implied that Joel, I mean, with the whole hunters thing, right? I've been on both sides of these ambush. So that part, I enjoyed that line, but I agree. And I don't know, the tendrils thing was kind of weird, because at the beginning of the episode I was like, cool, I'm sold now. I like this tendrils idea. It's you're all worried, and again, as I've talked about when the first T-Lu timeout, which is a great little name, spores wouldn't really work, because again, video games, you suspend disbelief a bit more. In the show, everyone would just be wearing gas masks all the time, because it's like, oh, is this a dusty room, or am I going to get fucking infected? Who knows?
Right.
But the tendrils, I mean, it's kind of funny, because it's similar to the casting. It's like you might have a preconceived notion that this might be a bad thing, and then just wait and see, because the idea of this, again, based in science, that this fungus has this alarm system where its tendrils are stretched out, and if you step on a patch of cordyceps a mile away, that it'll trigger the horde. That's really cool. That's a very video gamey mechanic that's able to be explained away within the lore of this live action TV show. That's kind of cool.
Let us not forget that I messaged this as well. Mushrooms are indeed rhizomatic, so there are networks of real life plants, not just mushrooms, but various plant organisms that do have contact with each other when it could be miles away, and that is very, very accurate. Which I thought was a nice bringing in the actual science of fungi. I thought was pretty neat.
This is the thing with adaptations, where sometimes all it takes is a fresh, people say this all the time, a fresh set of eyes. None of us had any complaints with The Last of Us as a game. In fact, it's one of the greatest games of all time. But a lot of these ideas are cool, and it's this just comes from Neil sitting down with somebody who didn't make The Last of Us and sort of talking it out. And he goes, "Well, what about tendrils? Isn't that a neat idea?" And it's that's kind of cool. Now, my issue with the tendrils, though, is that are we going to get into Tess, or Dan, do you want to give your thoughts on the whole episode? Let's talk about the museum scene first before we start shitting on the Tess thing. The museum scene was fucking awesome.
So good.
The audio,
Zero
the
complaints.
Was great, dude. Very good tension.
Not only the audio, but it's hard to notice because it happens in the background. But when Joel brings his gun up once they get discovered, I love how they made clickers more they're keeping the game hierarchy, where it's it disarms Joel immediately. Joel puts 2 rounds into it, and then I think the camera's focusing on Ellie, but in the background, the clicker just starts swinging and it throws his gun away from him, and Joel immediately retreats. That's what I want the clickers to be like, because that's supposed to be in the lore. They're armored, they've got fungus. You want to avoid conflict at all time. So I thought they did a great job illustrating that these things are fucking terrifying.
I love the line from Joel when he's from here on out, we're silent, not quiet, silent.
Yes.
And I was like, oh fuck, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
But Dan, tell us, what do you think?
Yes. Which, just real quick, not to start with my negative on that section, but my negative on that section was like, what the fuck was Joel shooting at? Like, Joel should be an expert at this point dealing with clickers, and he's shooting at the chest cavity of the clicker, not the head. Like,
yeah, I
but
feel like
the anatomy is different in the last. They're not zombies. They're not reanimated. You can kill them with a chest with chest trauma.
yes,
that's how he kills Jimmy
fair.
in the very very beginning shot, because the humans are alive. Right?
It just takes longer.
I guess it's one of those things where it's like, oh, do I try and get the lucky shot on the head where it goes through the fungal, or do I just try to melt him?
That's fair.
Is the only thing I could see for that, but that's a good point.
It's just a minuscule little nitpick. But yes,
Right.
I'm totally on the same page with you guys on most of everything else, though. Like, I really enjoyed that intro sequence, and I really hope they flesh out more of that kind of stuff.
My favorite part of the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to that actor. They're finding really good actors that can come in for one scene, or like Nico Parker, who presumably is only going to be in the first episode. That are able to like connect with the audience, because like Rashan said, when she delivers that line and she's like, she sets her tea down and she's like, what an incredible actor to come in for one scene. Like, I bought it. I was like, wow, she's like, yeah, this is it. This is the end.
Yeah.
And I've seen her in something else too. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I'm gonna go be with my family real quick, but go ahead and bomb us also while you're at it. But yeah, Tess, I definitely didn't connect with Tess as much as the games, like you guys were saying. She definitely didn't get fleshed out as much as you would have hoped. And that does bring me to my other issue, but I don't know if you want me to talk about it yet, because that last scene. But
we're running out of tape on T-Lu timeout, so bring it up if you got it.
All right. Just real quick. Why does that infected like walk up to Tess like without ripping her to shreds? Like every other clicker in existence runs up to you and like literally starts tearing you to shreds. Is it because she's
infected?
I guess.
Quick sidebar. Everyone keeps saying this. There was not a single clicker in that horde. A stalker came up to Tess. This is so weird. I'm seeing IGN write articles and it's like the clicker kiss. I'm like, that thing had eyeballs and was very like, that was a stalker. That was not a clicker.
Well,
but
either way.
again, yes.
Yeah.
I had the same intuition as Christian, where the tons of them that are running past her, it's like because she's already starting to like, they're again, it's because of how it's not like they're not infecting people by accident trying to kill them. The goal of the fungus is to just infect and spread. So my takeaway from that scene was that she's already starting to become infected. Therefore, they're like kind of World War Z logic, where they're like, all right, well, that's not important. Let's just run past. Now, my only thing is that the tendrils, the kiss, is like with how aggressive these tendrils have been shown. As soon as that thing came up to Tess, would they not just start like going right up into her sinuses and into her brain? Like, I don't feel like she'd be able to stand there as poetically as she would while you're getting these tendrils. And that was the weird thing where I'm like, they're trying to do like this high concept, like, ooh, double meaning. Yes. What is happening? And it's like, no. This is supposed to be horrific and graphic. And like when the doctor pulled those tendrils out, she was inside a latex suit and they still started like gravitating towards her. So it's like, that thing kissed you. They would be like in your eyeballs immediately. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And she's still able.
I thought that was a little lame.
She's
still trying to figure out the like.
Somebody's gonna do. So I think it was Neil or Craig were discussing like the reasoning behind this decision to have it be like this sort of kiss, and like I'm the kind of dude that's like death of the author. Like I don't care what you say. Like sure, I will take the original intent into consideration, but that doesn't matter to me. Like the way it comes across and the way I read it is I think, or how even the mass audience reads it is probably more important than whatever your intent was. And someone's going to do a really good like think piece on like like femininity in The Last of Us, specifically with Tess, because like that is in some regard like some kind of like violation. It's like and that's like what they said too, is like it's supposed to be like a violating moment of Tess, but like the way it comes across as like a kiss in the from an infected figure is still a little off-putting and weird, and so something to do is a way smarter reading than I can ever give it. But like it is very strange, and I think it did like put off a few people for sure, more than a few probably.
Bella Ramsey continues to kill it. I love her.
Yes.
I think she's doing a great job now. I mean, I did that.
Now?
I was going to
Get outta
say
here.
not now.
Get
Yeah,
outta here.
she was great in the first episode too. But I really liked her line with Joel with the gun, and she was like,
Yes.
"All right, fine, I'll just throw a sandwich at him." I was like, "That is such an Ellie."
That was yeah, similar to the Tendrils. I was like, okay, now I'm fully in on Bella Ramsey. I knew her acting chops. I saw her in Game of Thrones. She fucking killed it there. But like that line, that got me in a way that I was like, oh, this is how I remember laughing the first time I heard Ellie make a crack when I played The Last of Us for the first time. It was one of those things that happened subconsciously. I was like, okay, I really like this. I really, really like this.
My final note is that I'm not one to like completely like be like, hell yes, fan service. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I saw Joel give Tess the Sony boost, when I saw him move the cabinet, and when I saw them take off their backpacks and like prep their gear, I was like, damn, I don't know. This kind of got me. That's kind of cool, you know? I've done that in the game.
Fan service, it's world building. Like when you compare it to other shows of similar genres, like the amount of times that like I'd watch The Walking Dead and they're like, all right, guys, we're going on a scavenging mission, and they're all walking around in t-shirts and jeans with no gear on them, and they all have unlimited ammo. Like small things like this, it's like, is it fan service or is it just that world building? Like in this, it seems to be like a happy win-win where it's both. But like I look at that stuff and I'm like, this is getting me invested. This is grounded. They're checking their mags before they go into the building because they only have so much ammo.
The silence in the museum as Joel is trying to load his revolver as silently as possible. Get the fuck out of here. So good. So good.
Sound editing in this was great. The sound mixing was excellent.
Yeah. The clickers. The clickacy.
Oh my god. So good to have those voice actors back because man.
Very last thing from me at least. The very beginning when they're leaving the area for the first time where they were camping out and Ellie was in the sunlight and all that kind of stuff. And Joel opens the door. It sounded like a clicker, right? Like I'm not the only one.
Yep.
I was so freaked. I was like, holy shit, they're showing up right now. It was a tease though, but it was just the door.
I don't know how long we want to do this.
I'm done.
They are high. So Sony Productions is involved with this in some way or another. I have a theory that they are lending sound effects from either TLOU Part 1 or Part 2 to the studio because A, why wouldn't they? The sound effects are already made. And B, I swear to you, I've heard sound effects from the game in episode 1, specifically when the guard turns around and finds them. It sounds like they're mixing with the wind sound, the enemies alerting to you. That rewatch that clip. I think they're doing this. You're right, Roshan, because I heard that and I was like, that they're being cheeky. They're the door creaking sound. They're mixing with the clicker. If you do things like if you go back and watch episode 1, there are certain sound effects where I'm like, yeah, and why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they use free sound effects that are already made?
Quick note before we move on. Episode 3, of course, according to critics, and then one critic friend of mine who said that episode 3 is going to be the one that everyone talks about. It's the one that plays with structure the most. It's the one that was going to win Emmys. It is by far and away everyone's favorite who has already seen the season. Episode 3 is the best of the bunch. So be prepared for next week to blow your minds with Billstown. Bill is built different.
Man. And what a fucking perfect pairing. Bill's already
just
one
like
of the best
me and you
characters from the game, and then they're like, oh, also it's gonna be Nick Offerman playing it.
Moving on.
Just like me and you. I heard it.
Moving on. Nice, thank you. What you got for me, Dan? What you been up to?
As I alluded to before, I beat High on Life. Very much enjoyed it. It's definitely it's a good Game Pass game. I enjoyed my 8 or 9 hours to beat it. So the jokes I think landed pretty well for me until the end of the game. Like I said before, some jokes that don't land because of the circumstance. But behind Justin Roiland. But yeah, Squanch Games I feel like did a good job here, and I'm interested to see what they do next. I don't know, see another Game Pass game, that'd be kind of cool out of them. So, and actually the gameplay mechanics, I do want to touch on that a little bit as well, because like as you go on in the game, you unlock more guns, and at the end of the game you have all the guns obviously, and I think they did a really good job of making each gun unique, both in terms of personality and in terms of gameplay mechanics. So I did really like that as well. So yeah, good game. I think it was a good game.
Shout out to the knife. The knife was hilarious.
Yes.
That was by far my favorite character.
He just loves to devour the blood.
I love it. I love that chaotic energy. That was great.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop. Like, he goes through that all the way through the end.
That's awesome.
There's actually a really good. I really want to tell you guys about one of the boss fights, but I won't because of spoilers. Maybe after the show if you guys want to hear it. But there's one really funny one that I thought was good. But anyways,
I will probably be interested.
Yeah.
But until then, Ro, what do you got for us?
I've got 2 games. I've got A Space for the Unbound, which came out
Ooh!
last week, I think. Which is an indie game that I Christian as well is very interested in as well. But yeah, basically, Space for the Unbound is like a narrative action adventure game by Toj Studios. I always butcher their name. It's either Toj or Toje. But you play as an Indonesian high schooler named Atma. And basically, you're in high school, and high school is about to end. And you and your super cute girlfriend, they have such a cute dynamic in this game. They're adorable. Have to decide their future before school ends. But instead of doing that, they make a bucket list together to do before high school ends. And that's pretty much as far as I've gotten for myself. And you're just doing all these cute stuff with your girlfriend. You have like a notebook as well that like makes you go into the hearts, deep into the hearts of people around you, where you can get rid of stuff that upset them to unlock puzzles. And there's a lot more to it than what. Yes, exactly. Very Persona-esque. But yeah, there's more to it, but I haven't gotten that far. I only beat the prologue, which I had already played because I played the demo, and I got a little bit further into the first chapter. But there's still a lot more to play. But based on what I've played so far, and based on everything that I've seen online, that this is a very special game. So I'm excited to see where it goes. And the other game that I've played is Tales of Arise, which I've touched on a little bit, but I'm getting near the end of it now, and it's a JRPG game, very, very JRPG with its story and all that stuff, but the combat is so good. Basically, there's 2 types of people, Renans and Danans, and Danans are enslaved by Renans, but you are on a mission with a Renan who teams up with you to take down all the evil Renan lords for some reason. I can't say because that'll be spoiling. But you, on this journey, you meet other Danans and Renans, and you become a ragtag team of people who are usually opposed to each other just because of the state of the world. But that story is really touching, and the characters are really awesome, and the combat is just so fun. It's like based off of combos, and the higher your combo gets, the more chances you get to do these really cool finishers. It's just a lot of fun. But that's kind of all that I've been playing.
Oh, you guys got some cool games you guys have been playing. You know what I've been up to? Let me tell you. Remember how I used to play Mario Golf with the lads pretty often?
Yes.
You used to bring Peter and you just kind of catch up. Well, we switched games. One of my friends who I went to grad school with decided, I want to fool around on Fortnite. So he downloaded it. And he made us all get it. And we've been squabbling up on Fortnite almost every night, just chilling. I think I'm up to like around 15 wins this week.
Nice.
Just vibing. My little anime girl just running about.
Just about
Deku
to ask
Smash.
what your skin is.
Deku Smash is extremely overpowered. I use it. So I get all my wins. That's all I've been doing.
Christian playing Fortnite. Who would have thought?
In 2023.
Wow.
Not me. I would have never guessed this. Gage.
Aside from the usual, I have been playing a game called Diplomacy is Not an Option. I am absolutely just obsessed with this game right now. It is very similar to Minecraft Legends. It is a RTS, small scale RTS / city builder. But it's exactly the one that I've been craving, where each of your little cities, like, I'm not a big fan of the sim games that are like large scale, where it's just like hex grids. Like, I know Civilization is kind of like that. It's well regarded. People love that. I like seeing where it's like, okay, I have one little kingdom. I can see, if I have 200 population, I can see 200 little people running around and like making trails and all that stuff. And your army, you command them like unit by unit. So when you have like 50 sort of units there, and you're sort of dragging to select all of them and moving them, small things like that are just very satisfying. You know, building walls brick by brick or sort of grid by grid, all that kind of stuff. Very fun. Also, shout out to the devs because they have a little bit of fun. You go through the options, and at the very, very bottom of the options, there's a diplomacy setting, and your options are either it's not an option, off, or no. And it's fun. It's cute. I like it.
That
Fun game.
that is a very surprising game for me to hear from you. I'm not gonna lie to you,
Yeah.
but I'm glad you're having fun.
I like a lot of genres. I just have been stuck with first-person shooters for a while, but I'm quite a big
Sure.
city builder and sim fan. Like City Skylines, I played the crap out of that game.
Why don't you play the crap out of me?
I'm going to.
Or why don't you play the crap out of the topic of the show this week? Is
No.
video game writing actually bad? This has been Twitter insufferable Twitter discourse for the past few days, so we decided why not do it here as well, but in a more nuanced capacity. Am I right, fellas?
Yes.
No, you're bad.
Oh.
Thank you. Well, all right. This all stemmed from a clip of somebody playing upcoming Square Enix game, Forspoken. I'm sure we've all seen the clip. Have we all seen it? So I just move shit with my freaking mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get into any kind of discussion, I mean, because our discussion is stemming from this, what are your thoughts on Forspoken just in general? Like in writing, delivery, these clips. What are we thinking?
Delivery is fine. Delivery is never, very rarely the issue because the director's the one that says, "Yep, good take." So you know what?
Fair.
Leave Ella alone. Here's what I want you to do.
No one is going after her, though. No one is.
I don't care. I don't
You
care.
think?
Here's how we're gonna settle the argument right now. If you think the writing in Forspoken is bad, I want you to Google Forspoken cast. I want you to click on the first name that pops up and go to images. And I want you to stop. Just stop. Just look at the Google
No.
images.
This is not a
and then
nuanced
just
take.
Stop.
This is a horny take. Here's my answer to the question that I'm asking: is video game writing actually bad? The answer is yes. But however, it's always been bad.
Yes.
But bad is an asterisk, of course, because context matters. Ro, what are you thinking on Forspoken this clip?
From this clip, I didn't like it. What I saw, but then I asked myself, why don't I like it? Because if it was a Sonic game and Sonic was saying this, I'd be like, holy fuck, this is awesome. And I don't know why that is. And I hope we can discuss that and figure out why.
That's a great question.
Maybe it has to do with the type of game it is. I don't know why when I look at Forspoken, I'm expecting something different, I guess. And when she says stuff like this, it just puts me off for some reason. Even though this type of writing is something that I usually like, and I honestly I don't know why it's not working for me here. I don't know, and maybe somebody could like help. But when I'm seeing the gameplay, the parkour looks cool. When I played the demo, I didn't really like the combat, so that soured that part of it for me. And when I was listening to the cuff and her going back and forth, that didn't work for me either. And yeah, I want to hear what everybody else thinks on this clip too. But yeah, I didn't like what I saw.
I have an answer for you, but we're going to take some time to like circle around there if that's all right.
Yes.
Daniel, your top level thoughts on Forspoken. These clips.
Yeah, I think the reason it doesn't work for me is very similar to Ro. Like, I just don't think it works in this world that they built. Like, very much, I'm of the same mindset of if this was in something else. Like, if this was in High in Life or something. Like, not even that, because the High in Life's a lot more, a lot. I don't know, dirtier jokes and stuff like that. But
it's a bit more crude humor.
Yes. But like, I look at this world and I feel like this world is like a realistic, like fantasy type world, and then they're making like this banter, and I'm just like, I don't know if this quite fits.
Okay,
There's something about it.
It's weird.
We're gonna have to jump right into the answer. Go ahead.
And I feel like I'm conflicted emotions within myself, even because when I saw the first trailer, and she's like, "That's a fucking dragon," and she's wearing Converse, and she has a cape, and she's wearing her New Yorker outfit. I was like, "This is dope. I love this." And then it's here, and she's still wearing a cape. She's still wearing her Converse, and she's still essentially saying the same shit. I don't know. I really don't know why I'm not jiving with it anymore. Maybe I grew up in the last 2 months. I don't know, but I don't know what happened. It's weird, and it could be that like Twitter is influencing my brain in some way. I don't know.
My actual nuanced opinion, if you want to call it that, which I'm not going to claim that it is that nice. I do believe this is just a Twitter hive mind situation, kind of gaslighting us all into thinking this, because I saw a really great tweet. I don't know who it was. I just liked it and moved on, which is how I operate on Twitter. where they said like, "Hey, you guys all watched 2 Deadpool movies with us, and
Thank you.
you guys weren't
I didn't like
complaining
Deadpool
then."
either, though. But yeah.
So that's okay. So you're fine. You're safe then. I did enjoy Deadpool,
yeah.
but I also am not like. No, I don't think Forspoken is the best dialogue I've ever heard. But like, this is the thing. It's like, from what I understand, which I only saw the first trailer, I was really impressed with, and then I have left it since. Is that I'm pretty sure the whole idea is that she's like a modern day human that gets sucked into this fantasy world. So like, when Dan was like, when Dan's like, "Oh, does it make sense that she's saying all these things?" I'm like, "Well, I think it's supposed to contrast the magical world around her." She's like, "What the fuck's going on?" And it's like, well, chick's from New York. I mean, she's been sucked into Skyrim in real life.
See, I didn't know that context. I had no idea.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the original like hook of the game when they first showed it off. Is that she gets sucked into this realm, and she's like, "Wait, what the fuck? Why am I here?" Which again, with that context, it's like, okay, is it the best written? No, but like, is it any worse than Mass Effect Andromeda? Is it any worse than like any of these other games that come out?
And this is part of my answer. When I say yes, they've always been bad, so have other things that people have liked before. Thor: Love and Thunder. I fucking despise that movie. I think that movie is written just like terribly. I think that writing is bad. I think the Deadpool movies are bad. I think James Gunn's Suicide Squad is bad. Right?
Crazy.
I'm saying a lot of things because like we have to look at what I'm calling monoculture, which is like ever since the Avengers 1 2012 came out, there's been this trend where like we have to make things quippy, we have to have like a ton of these kinds of dialogue where it's like referential to other things, and we have to be like jokey and lighthearted. It happened in Star Wars Episode 9 when the first time Kylo Ren meets Oscar Isaac's character, I'm forgetting his name, Poe Dameron.
Oh my god.
He says, "Who talks first? I talk first. You talk first." And it's like that is very much the Marvel thing, right? And so these kinds of things have been like happening all over the place, and it's happening more in the game. And the reason why I think people are fed up with it is just like because like we're getting so much of these quantity and not so much quality of it. Like naturally, like these things start to get a little bit worse, and we start to get tired of it. Forspoken seems to be the first kind of evidence of that in games, where it's like we don't want this kind of writing anymore. We're too used to it. We're desensitized to it. Like everyone is tired of the Marvel movies. They're all the same now, right? So when you're seeing these kinds of similar writing in games, you don't want to play that anymore either. And you're seeing like games that are getting like your dramas, your critically acclaimed games get more like, I don't know, acclaim, respect. That's like what people are more into. When you get like these more like lighthearted Marvel-esque kind of games, it's not so much the same anymore. And that's one reason why I think people are bagging on Forspoken so much. It's one example of it. And yet we get today Hi-Fi Rush. You go watch the trailer for this, and it is beat for beat the exact same writing. And like as Forspoken, the difference is we have major aesthetics change. We have a different tone, different gameplay style that is like very much like inviting for us to like have these kinds of quirky and lighthearted like line deliveries. And when it matches that, suddenly everything kind of clicks into place and we buy into this world and writing of it. But when it's like, again, Forspoken, which Dan was kind of getting at, like this kind of real world setting where it feels like a bit different, we're kind of more off-put. And that's, I think, my answer as to why people were bagging on it so much. Is the writing bad? No, not necessarily, but context matters.
I don't think it's any worse than most games that come out. Again, that's the reason why The Last of Us is such a treasure, is because it is the exception to the rule. The performances in The Last of Us, this is why I don't care if people are tired of hearing it. I'm never going to stop singing the praises of the original Last of Us, because those performances are so far and above and beyond the average video game performance. Like, it's not even sane. It's not even close, especially now that I've been watching comparisons with the show coming out and watching the scenes. I'm like, man, again, the nuance in some of these performances on a 3D model is better than sometimes the real life equivalent. So like when I see things like Forspoken, I see everybody losing their shit about it. I'm like, guys, this is pretty standard for video games. Video games,
yes. There's
just a difference between voice acting and like actual acting. I don't think there's a difference in terms of like respect that you should get, but like there's just a bit of a difference when you're playing when you're doing a voice line for a character that's supposed to be sprinting around, doing 360s in the air, doing, MacGuffins or whatever the hell. Like, yeah, it's not gonna come across exactly right. But listen, Ella deserves better than this. All right, she just got finished with Resident Evil.
No one is ragging on Ella.
Listen, but they are, because if you say this sounds bad, and it's voiced by her and modeled after her, you are.
No, you're conflating that. No one is talking about the voice actor. I think they're talking about the game itself. I would reckon. I don't know if anyone else.
It's too close. It's too close to the voice actor.
Because no one is saying like, "Wow, Ella is so bad in this," or like, "Oh, the voice actor's like, this delivery sucks." It's like, no, it's the writing.
True.
It's
but
because
not... she's speaking the words, you're indirectly insulting.
I don't think that's true at all.
It's not like a Peter.
Personally,
it's not like a Peter Dinklage situation from Destiny. That wizard
that was bad.
Came from the moon.
That was this.
Oh my god. Ro?
Yeah.
Because you had some thoughts on Hi-Fi Rush as well.
Yeah, I you said exactly what I was thinking earlier, where it's like, this is the cheesy writing that Forspoken has, but I'm into it. And I think you explained why I'm into it is because I'm expecting it when I look at it, and I'm just more accepting of that writing. And I don't know. I really don't know. I honestly, you're explaining it. I get it, but I still don't know, because I should like Forspoken, even though it doesn't look like it. It should have this writing. Yeah. It does, and I should like it, and I don't. And it might be because I am tired of it, and I don't know. It is an interesting conversation to have for sure. But like Fire Emblem Engage came out recently, and there's been a lot of clips online of dialogue from that, and I'm like, these are fucking hilarious, dude. These are like out of context clips are so freaking funny. But if they were in any other game, I'd be like, what the fuck is this? Why are they writing them like this? This is ridiculous. But because it's Fire Emblem and because it looks like Fire Emblem, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can get behind this. I'm glad they took this very bold step for Fire Emblem. Wow, this is amazing. But anything else, I'd be like, this is terrible. And I think I need to internalize that and work on my biases a little bit more. But yeah, I don't think that Forspoken is I haven't played it. I didn't like the combat, but like Gage was saying, I don't think it's something crazy that we need to shit on. Like it's this horrible thing. Like it's it's like it's a video game, and
people should get a grip if they're doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I will say this though. I do think it's a bit odd though that they have the option in the game to slide down the amount of quips and like, you know, what do you call it? Like that dialogue
banter?
between her and the cuff banter. Like there's a banter slider. You can turn it off. It's just like they're doing it less. That's a little bit weird.
Is it though, or is that not a direct result of them seeing that they're being like dunked on? Because this isn't new. Like these criticisms have been floating around for about 8 months now since the last deep dive gameplay trailer we got.
High on Life has a very similar feature.
Yeah.
So does God of War Ragnarok.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
It totally does. Yes. People were complaining that in the first game they talked too much. Yeah, right? So the puzzles, like you can turn those kinds of things off. Not the banter, but yeah, the amount of frequency of talking when guiding players you can turn down.
Can I turn off the 3 straight hours of Freya and Kratos arguing back and forth?
There was another.
I just want the best for them, huh? Sorry, Ro. You have something real to say.
There was another comparison with the writing for Forspoken and another game, which was Uncharted. I saw it's like you guys were like totally
go play
fine
Uncharted
with
2.
Yeah, it's like you got exactly just go play the game. But I was like, there's also the time frame that those games were released in as well, where it was before Marvel as well. At least we weren't as deep into MCU as we are now. Where we were even more accepting for those kind of things. And again, what it was trying to be was an Indiana Jones, like Tomb Raider, like spin-off thing. So it was like, this is what we're looking for. And yeah, I thought that was a weird comparison, but I would love to, I don't know if any guys have like anything off the top of your head, but like what's an example of actual bad writing in gaming that you could think of, like a video game that has actually bad writing? Because I don't think Uncharted is one of them.
That's a great question, because I don't even think Forspoken is technically even one of them. I mean, at least I can't judge it off these like 30-second clips. Like, yeah, I get it out of context, but like, come on, it's a little bit too short for me to tell. Like, is it corny? Sure, but is it outright bad? Not necessarily. I don't think.
So I would, and this is maybe a bad example because I feel like it's just a localization issue. But I would say like the Resident Evil games come to mind, right? Of bad writing, especially the original ones. prior to Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
Like, you boot up Resident Evil 5 right now and tell me that the plot, them being in South Africa, is well written.
But again, like here's the thing, like it's part of like the corniness of like when you buy into like that, where like you're expecting a level of corn.
Mm-hmm.
So now this
And
is
cringe out of these.
Now this is shifted into a separate conversation though of your tolerance for bad writing, because you're saying like
Right.
that's part of it, but I would say that it's objectively bad writing. It's like I would say the Resident Evil games, especially before the remakes, even you could even argue with the remakes, are still like not the greatest.
A bit of
Here's a
campiness. Sorry.
Sonic 2, bad writing. Sorry.
Sonic 2, horrible. I'll stop you, Faker. Life is Strange, I think, is a pretty good example.
Yeah.
That's the one I thought too. Thank
where
you,
I love that game. Love it. But you could absolutely tell that the writers in this room are not teenage girls, but they're writing teenage girls like freaking idiots. But again, I love the hella that Chloe says all the time.
That's what I was thinking of, the
And
hella.
I was like, this is so stupid, but I love it because I'm expecting this kind of writing for the type of teen drama tale that they're telling. But I could also admit that this is bad writing. But
Right. It's hard, man. Like it's really hard to like determine what is gonna like hit with audiences and what isn't. Like there's just something about Forspoken. Like, bro, you're like, it is very hard to pinpoint why people hate it so much. And honestly, I'm part of it. Like, it just does not look fun to me. Like I'm when I'm watching these clips, I'm just like, no, I'm sorry, I get it, but like it's just not for me. It does not speak to me. And then the people are like, no, this is funny. I like seems like right up my alley.
Yeah,
it's very weird.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think that's great. Like, more power to those people who enjoy it, and good for us for not spending the extra money to try it and hate it. And like, as long as we're not shitting on other people for liking it, and they're not telling us that we're wrong for not liking it, everything should be good in the world. But Twitter is not like that.
No.
And we're wrong for not liking it, and they're wrong for liking it. And yeah, it's but we're not like that. We're cool.
Are we cool?
I think we're.
I would reckon also like Final Fantasy, especially like Crisis Core that just came out, which is not a remake, but a remaster of an much older game. Like, that is very corny dialogue, very corny settings.
Yeah,
probably bad writing if we're probably discussing that, and yet we let it slide. We buy into that level of camp.
The people that were I watched Kind of Funny's review on that with Tim, who had played it before, and Blessing as well, but Roger played it for the first time, and it was his first time playing, and it was like, this is really bad. Like, some of this stuff is like not good. And Tim and Tim was like, well, like, it is, but I love it. And it's exactly what you guys are what we've been saying, where you come into it with expecting something, and the people who have played it already who know what it's like, or like, I don't know. It's just about your taste, like you guys are saying. It's like yours.
What?
Yeah.
I want to give a few more examples because, like, I find that thought experiment of like, can you give an example of bad writing? Neon White came out last year. The narrative of that game was so off-putting. The writing of it was so bad that many journalists, players, including myself, eventually started skipping the cutscenes. Like the comic, the text-based stuff, because it was just so bad and it just added nothing. And yet that's like a lot of people's like on the Game of the Year list because it plays so well. But it's also very like anime inspired. So
it's a very unique issue to games, right? Where it's like the gameplay is at the end of the day the most important thing, right? So, yeah, that's interesting.
And it turns out with Forspoken, when people are very mixed and not feeling great about the minute-to-minute gameplay, or like what there is to find in the environments, is there enough to do in the game? When you compile all these kind of like mixed feelings about the game and then add like a barrage of writing that maybe doesn't land, suddenly it's like, oh, that's when you start hitting like, oh, this is just bad.
Right.
And you focus on the thing that everyone can see, which is just the writing, the clips that you can share out.
Yes.
The easiest thing, yeah. Because it's very hard to show off, disappointment with lack of stuff to do in an environment. You need time to do that. So,
I mean, Square Enix is not a small company, and they'll be fine. But it is kind of sad to see.
Stranger of Paradise, dog.
That's a great example too. Oh my god, yeah, and that's another Final Fantasy one though too, where some people might have just expected that, but no, a lot of people were ragging on the writing for that one in particular. Actually, when that came out. But what I was going to say was that it's sad to see like a new IP be like this, because we're always asking for like, come on guys, do something different. We don't want a number 2 to this. We want something new.
Right.
Give me something new. And they do, and it just doesn't hit the way that we were all expecting it to. But again, Square Enix is going to be fine, but it is kind of bummer.
Well, let alone a game with like a black lead, which like I won't get into now, but like you could definitely like read into like internal biases for sure, and that reading would probably be valid. Maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. Again, another discussion for another time.
Well, that's for you three. That's for you three to internalize, because I'm the only one that doesn't have a problem with it.
That's true. But you spent the whole time saying, "Look at her."
I did. On the other side of the coin, I did objectify her almost entirely. But
sure.
But if we're picking sides,
yes.
All I know is Kirik I think is going to play Forspoken. Right? Is Kirik excited for it, or is that Hogwarts?
He'll probably. Well, actually, no. Kirik is kind of flip floppy. Sometimes he's based, and sometimes he disagrees.
I think
so. The answer,
Hogwarts. Yeah.
Oh, got
Sorry.
it. The answer is video game writing actually bad. That depends.
We don't know.
Who would have thought? It depends.
We have the definitive answer here.
Me personally, I say yes, but I think everything sucks. Unlike this podcast, which, thank you again, everyone joining us live on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your pods. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, ISO Christian. Hi, that's me. Thank you, Gage and Daniel. What's up, King? This has been Podcast PXN, and we are out here.
Much love, and keep on gaming.
Drink teas, take care of yourself.
See ya.